Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I'm going to have a guest on from LaGrange College, as well as a guest on from LaGrange City Hall. So stay tuned for those interviews coming up in just a moment.
Just what you're hungry for. It's in downtown LaGrange. You have 17 restaurants to choose from, and each has its own personality, from chef-driven establishments to life on the casual side. Celebrate, create traditions, make new friends, discover new tastes. Downtown LaGrange is simply delicious. So come on down.
Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm sitting down with the guest from the City of LaGrange, the building official, Mr. Bill Newman. Mr. Newman, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you sit down with me here today to talk about a couple things that's going on in our department. But before we get started in talking about that, I know that each year the community participates in the Toys for Tot, and we probably hear some of the updates coming out of the Atlanta area. And I know that you and some of the Marine Corps lead gentlemen here locally participate in that. Tell us, if you don't mind, do you have any updates from how well the community did over the last month?
Yes, I do. I think that it may be interesting to people who see the Toys for Tots boxes around and hear so much about Toys for Tots that maybe they hear some of the good news at the end of it. Usually the whole campaign disappears about Christmas Day and nobody hears anything until next November when we start again. Toys for Tots is run for the Marine Corps Reserve by the local detachment of the Marine Corps League, and these are all Marine Corps veterans who are in the detachment, and they offer their time volunteer to run Toys for Tots all over the country. It's not just local. It's a nationwide foundation. This year we had a good year. We all took part in different campaigns at different locations in the city, and so far it looks like that we got 4,666 toys, 416 books, 2,935 stocking stuffers, which are just the small toys, and distributed toys and that list of toys to 1,734 children in the Troup County area.
Oh my.
LaGrange and Hogansville, through the local distributor of Salvation Army, is who does the actual distribution for us.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to another good year next year, and about next November the 15th, you'll start seeing the boxes back out and start seeing people start activating, but we do it every year.
Okay, well, very good.
Good campaign, and I'd like to thank everybody that donated their money and efforts to it.
Well, thank you all, Mr. Bill. I know that you, and don't want to start naming names, so I know I would leave somebody off. I just know that Mr. Bledsoe and
yes, sir,
has been on the show and talked about
the whole detachment did, and Jim Sexton, who was in charge of it, and there's lots of people, but those are the main two that administrated the campaign, and then all the rest of the detachment worked for them.
Well, very good. Well, we thank you all for doing that, and I know the kids are greatly appreciative of all the things that you all do to make sure that every kid has a toy on
that.
Christmas
That's the whole point of the thing. It has nothing to do with any glory or any income to the Marine Corps League or to Marine Corps Reserve. It's strictly a thing for the toys.
Well, very good, very good. We thank you all for what you do in the community. Then we want to talk a little bit, change gears a little bit. I know that you're the building official for the City of LaGrange, and a number of things fall under that realm. And a couple of things is, renewals of business license for the City of LaGrange. We want to talk about that, and also talk a little bit about the staff personnel that you have on board.
Okay, we have two administrators. They are clerks at the desk when people come into the office that are licensed in permit department.
Okay.
And Alicia Nixon, who is mainly responsible for, even though they do swap jobs, they're both certified in each job, but Alicia does mainly the building permits and that type of operation unless she's busy or absent, and then Christine takes over. Christine Reeves is the license permit, handles all of the alcohol and other regulatory type licenses as well as business licenses.
Okay.
So we split the work up between them, but try to get everybody in the office involved in it. But it's quite a chore every year. 1,500 businesses roughly in LaGrange, and we have to send out notices and collect from every business.
That's right. And that is a pretty tall order there. And of course, you mentioned Alicia Nixon and Christine Reed. And, some of them mentioned some of the other staff members that you had there in the department too.
That is strictly the license and permit department.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get into home inspections, who is Marjorie Potts, and Glenn Conroy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a new employee that came on board with us about roughly 6 months ago.
Okay.
We hired him to replace our older housing inspector, and Glenn's done a good job. He's qualified. All of our inspectors are certified in their line of work. Homer Samuels is there as the senior inspector. It does both residential and commercial inspections. And then when Homer's busy or needs assistance or is out for some reason, vacation, then I'll do his inspections for him. But everybody in our department is certified in what they do. So we don't, one of these fly-by-night organizations, we spend a lot of money and a lot of time every year in education and buying books and studying and getting certifications.
That's right, absolutely. You talking about the various staff members there in inspections, and it's important that the viewing audience know that, and most of them know because you have a great relationship with the contractors. I feel that at various stages they have to have inspections done and things of that nature. A lot of times I feel calls and asking, well, how much is a business license or how much is an inspection done? And if someone is listening to this show and they had questions of such, can you give them a contact number that they could reach you or reach someone in your office there?
Yes, we could be contacted, and we don't want anybody to feel like that they don't have the right to contact us or feel like they may be not up to the last minute and feel embarrassed about asking a question. We're there to answer questions, and we have telephones 706-883-2060, 2060. That's the main number there at the license and permit.
Okay.
And I have a number there, and I'm right beside the desk almost. All of us are glad to answer questions.
That's right.
Before a situation becomes, especially with buildings, before something becomes a problem and an owner or a contractor has to tear out and rework something, we would much prefer that they come in and ask a question or call and ask, and we don't mind at all asking.
Absolutely. And I know, a lot of times, I feel somebody call sometime and they have questions about various things. Do your guys offer like a courtesy inspection or a courtesy call out?
We try to limit them, Alton, as much as we can because they are time consuming, but I do not remember any time we have ever refused anybody. Sometimes we have to make them wait maybe a half a day or a day till we can get around to visit and giving them a courtesy inspection. We spend most of our time on doing actual inspections for projects in progress. Okay. So, but that's another thing, like asking the question. We would much rather go out and then look at something and say, this is what you need to do, or this is how you need to do it, before they just get a permit and start into it and do something wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's always best to
get information up front. It's all based on safety. It's all the codes are. That's the basis to keep the population safe when they go into a building, so that you don't see some of these things like you see on television where a building fails.
That's right.
And that's the whole point of what we do.
Absolutely. And I think that you guys do a great job too. We say thank you. I want to change gears just a little bit because we've been talking about inspections there, and you mentioned a moment ago about 1,500 renewal for business licenses went out back in November, and people that own a business or running a business inside the City of LaGrange need to realize that those licenses were due on January the 1st. And want to make sure that people are clear when we say business license, but it's actually an occupational tax,
Yes.
One and the same. Talk a little bit about those occupational taxes and the situation that's going on right now.
All right. The term business license is one that comes from way back. I know when I was in business, it was business license. Nobody talked about occupational tax.
Right.
I think 1996 is when the occupational tax started in LaGrange, and it's a tax that is charged to everyone who does business. The occupational tax is just a flat $75. And then with that, you have an administration fee of $35, which makes a total of $110 that each business has to pay to the city by January the 1st every year. And that's not voluntary, and it's compulsory. If you're going to do business, which means establish yourself as someone who sells and makes a profit in the City of LaGrange, no matter where it is, even home occupations and all the other businesses, you have to pay that $110 occupational tax every year by January the 1st. If it's not paid by January the 1st, then you will have to pay a 10% fee on top of that for the late fee. After April the 1st, then the city has the right to charge 1.5% on top of everything. So it can get expensive. Plus the fact that if you do not renew your business license by January the 1st, then on January the 2nd, or January the 1st really, you are operating a business technically without a license. And that can get ugly after a while. It's a situation we don't like to have to go out and talk to people, but you can lose your business license, and not by us. We're not coming out and threatening anybody with something. It's mayor and council, if they decide to, and somebody refuses to pay that occupational tax, can pull their business license.
That's right.
And it also, you can go to court. You get citation. You get a citation for operating without a license. You're going to have to go to municipal court and explain the situation to the judge, and that's not a very pleasant situation either. So if you're going to be in business, pay your occupational tax on time. That's what it amounts to. Anytime during the year. You have a half-year license also.
Right.
And if you go into business after July the 1st, you can get that occupational tax prorated, 50% of it.
That's
50% of the business.
So bottom line is, if they hadn't paid by now, they're late.
If they haven't
they
paid
get a
by
final
now,
notice,
yes,
and
that's correct.
other penalties may be coming forth, correct?
Yeah, not maybe, it will be.
It will be coming
it
forth.
will be.
That's right.
Because it's a city ordinance.
That's right.
It's got to be enforced, and that's what we do. Part of our business is, as unpleasant as it may be for everybody, is enforcing those ordinances.
Give them the contact number as we close up, Mr. Bill, one more time. For those that may be watching and say, oh God, I forgot to do mine, give them the number that they can call,
all right.
If you don't mind, as we close out.
Okay. Not only the number, I would also like to remind them that they can go online.
Okay.
And it's City of LaGrange site under community development, and they can go right to, they have a nice website. It's got all these forms listed out. They can download them and print them at home if they want to, or wherever. You don't have to come in and pick up forms and take them home.
Right.
You can do this online.
Okay.
And telephone number to reach us to ask any questions they want to about permits, licenses, or anything else, 706-883-2060.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming on and sharing that information. And by all means, listening audience, if you hadn't got your occupational for 2015, make sure that you go online, download the forms, fill them out, bring them in, so that you don't have to get a visit from Mr. Bill or some of his staff. All right.
That's right.
Mr. Bill, thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment.
Just what you're looking for. You'll find it in one of the 28 shops in downtown LaGrange. Remember old school customer service? it's still here. Not to mention that perfect gift. That's the beauty of downtown LaGrange. So come on down.
Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm sitting down with a guest from LaGrange College, who is the Major Gift Officer and also the Panther Club Coordinator,
Yes.
Mr. Willie Mattis. Willie, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, it's a good pleasure sitting down with you. And I think this is the first time that you and I have had an opportunity to sit down here on the show.
Yes.
And I know that we've interfaced and interacted numbers of times in the community.
Yes, we have.
Just want to kind of tell the people what your role is there as the Major Gift Officer and Panther Club Coordinator, if you don't mind.
Sure. First of all, I'm an alum of the college. I graduated in 1981, played basketball there. Now I'm on staff there as a fundraiser, Major Gifts Officer. I actually travel the state of Georgia getting donations from alumni and friends of the college to fund scholarships so students can go there.
Oh, okay.
And as the Panther Club Coordinator, I also raise funds for the athletic programs that enhances what the budget can't do. We do it through the Panther Club.
Okay.
So those are my two roles there.
So, anytime you talk about fundraising, that's an important person,
Sure.
especially in the economy that we're in right now.
Yes.
And an important role, and I know that you do a great job, and also an alumni of the college.
Yes. Again, I graduated from there, and I have two sons also that graduated from there and played
I was
basketball.
about to say, I think you had sons that went and
Yes.
played ball too.
Yes.
Well, very good, very good. Well, and every year the college brings into the community guest speakers that do an outstanding job of, around this time, starting with a little bit after the MLK holiday, and I think kind of in celebration of Black History Month leading up
Yes.
to. And I know that you all, as I said, had some dynamic speakers over the course of time, and not to start naming any names because I'll forget, I'm sure, but
Yes.
I understand that Dr. Otis Moss last year was here.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind, as we lead up to the guest speaker for this year.
Sure. Dr. Otis Moss, he's a local guy, actually, originally from this area, pastored Old Mount Olive Baptist Church, which was my home church, and so he pastored me as a young kid growing up through there. And he went on to the Atlanta areas and other areas as a pastor, and he came and spoke, and it was amazing what he shared with us, his experience at the college in terms of, he talked about how growing up there, he couldn't go there, he couldn't be on campus, but he did work there washing windows actually, and was not insured. And he talked about how from that point, how he looked at now the changes and how things have gotten better and the differences. But when you look at the fact that he grew up here, he knows a lot about the college and the history of LaGrange, and to have him as a speaker, it was pretty amazing.
I bet so. And, a number of times I've heard he's speaking in various events, and like you say, native to LaGrange.
Yes.
And just an outstanding gentleman, and I understand that was an outstanding presentation that he made there last year. And let me ask you, why is the college involved with organizations or occurrences like this to kind of help bring about guest speakers like that? Why is the college involved with that, you think, Willie?
Well, there are many reasons. LaGrange College is the oldest private college in the state of Georgia, founded in 1831. And we feel as an institution of higher learning that we have an obligation to share with the community and alumni of the college and friends of the college things such as this. And with it being Black History Month, and on the heels of the college will be closed on the 19th to observe the holiday, we just feel it's important that we reach out and bring some civil rights movement people that were part of that era that can come and share with us their experience. For example, Dr. Otis Moss, when he talked, everybody in the room left leaving with something that made them look at the perspective of the civil rights movement from a whole different eye. I think what he shared and the way he shared it, with him being there and part of it, just gave you a whole new look about it. So I think as a college, we feel an obligation to our students there. Our professors are involved in making sure that students come to this event, that they know about the speaker before they get there, that they can partake in questioning after the speaker speaks. And I feel like bringing the community in, doing something that the community can be part of, is important to us as a college. So this is one more way to do it.
Oh, very good. You know, I went to the fall event that was presented at Delavan, and the college brought in the founder of Pinewood Studios.
Yes.
And Dr. Stuart Gully was there, past president of the college. And,
yes,
you know, he just gave a snippet of what Dr. Moss had talked about, and I'm sitting there like, you know, in awe.
Yes.
Because, you know, as you talked about, I think the guest speakers that come, they say and leave things that everybody can hear and take something back to hopefully help shape their lives and move them in a direction that they may not have been possibly traveling in before.
That's very true. Dr. Moss in particular challenged every one of us in that room last year to be better, to do our part to make this country, this world better by acknowledging the differences in people and acknowledging the history and the past, as well as bringing it forward and knowing that there's still a lot of work to be done. So the way he did it, the way he presented it, and his work, just his resume, speaks volumes of what he has done personally.
Well, you said early before we came on, you had some heavyweight hitters here.
Yes.
And I know that Dr. Moss is one of those, and Dr. Gully, in his own respective right, is a great man. I respect and admire him and for all the things he's done. And of course, Dr. Dan McAlexander, whom I've had a number of interfacing with over the course of his tenure here as well. I want to get into who your guest speaker is going to be this coming Thursday, the 22nd, up at LaGrange College there. You have one of the original freedom riders, Mr. Hank Thomas. Talk about him a little bit, if you don't mind.
That is correct. He is he's one of the original freedom riders from 1961. He actually was born in 1941 in St. Augustine, Florida, but he makes his home in the Atlanta area now. He's an amazing man. He actually served in the Vietnam War in '65, got injured in '66, and got the Purple Heart Award and about 5 other medals as well. He got a scholarship to Howard University. He has been a lifetime member of the NAACP. He's a retired member of the 100 Black Men of DeKalb County. He's owned businesses such as McDonald's, Burger King, Marriott, Fairfield Inn, Wishbone Chicken. I mean, he's just done an amazing job of being a businessman as well as a civil rights movement person. He started his journey at the age of 19, and he would actually ride the freedom buses throughout the South to test legislation about civil rights. And in Anniston, Alabama, the bus he was on actually got set on fire, and the sheriff department watched it burn and didn't even help him. So he was part of that. He's experienced some of those things. So he has an amazing story that he's going to come and share with us, and we're excited about having him on.
Absolutely. You know, I'm sitting here looking at the handout that I printed off before I came on, and I'm sitting with the Jackson Police Department, where he had been arrested at the age of 19. You know, and I can only imagine what that would have been like for a 19-year-old. I'm sure you had some fear, you know, of what may happen to you, you know, being in the deep South and in a South that wasn't accepting of you. What that would have been like. But, you know, through it all, he persevered and you say went on to make a great contribution to this community and to this society and to this world, no doubt.
He has.
So he will be there. Talk about where will he be on campus there, because I'm...
Yes, it will actually be right on campus. It's the Dixon Assembly Room, which is Turner Hall. There's no admission, totally free to the community and anyone that wants to be part of that. It's from 11 o'clock that morning to 12, just 1 hour. And we certainly want the community to come out and be part of this. This is important to us as a college to bring speakers such as this and to give a whole different perspective on their time and what they've experienced. And we're fortunate to have men that are still living that were there, that experienced some of those things, that can share with us what it was like. as well as share with us their vision for the future. So we're excited. We think Hank Thomas will be a great speaker. We think that, you know, men such as him are important to our legacy and what goes from here. But we also think that as a college, we have an obligation to bring people like this forward for the community to be part of.
You know, it's just a wonderful thing that the college does each year to bring in, you know, the inspirational speakers of this nature,
Yes.
and then for the college student body
Yes.
to be involved and not just come and hear a speech delivered by someone of past,
Yes.
but to have the opportunity to dialogue with them as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Because I heard you saying that the professors kind of help prompt them and prepare them.
Yes,
How
they do.
important do you think that is for our generations that are coming along now, Willie? How important?
I think it's extremely important because I think a lot of the generation now, the younger kids, don't understand sometimes the importance of our history, and as well as some of the sacrifices that were made to make things possible for today. And I think going back and reviewing that or looking at that, as well as bringing people that were there that can share, because I know me being part of the audience last year with Dr. Moss, what he said inspired me, it touched me, it motivated me to work harder, to want to be better, to realize that there's still a lot of work to be done. So I think it's important that we don't forget that and we continue to keep that on the forefront. And I think our young people need to hear that. And I remember last year there were many students there that had some really great questions, and they, you could tell they had done their homework and they were prepared and understood and knew a lot about our speakers. So I think the professors do a great job of preparing them. I think our president, Dr. Mac Alexander, has a heart and desire to make sure we continue to do these kinds of things. So I think this is very important.
Oh, very good, very good. And again, that's going to be January the 22nd at 11 o'clock. And I just want to ask, Willie, and by no means am I trying to ask the college to do something, but I know it's at 11 o'clock in the morning. Has the college thought about maybe holding it in the evening times so that, you know, and I know that you always have a great turnout to reach some of those that may not be able to participate at the 11 o'clock hour?
I'm not sure if they have, but I do know we try to do it where maybe those that aren't retired and have jobs maybe can do their lunch break during that hour. We try to keep it to an hour so that they possibly could do those kinds of things. So we hope that that's one way you can juggle your schedule to make an event like this.
Okay.
Doing it later may be something we have to consider, but I do know that we do feel like this is a good time for the students and professors as well as for a lot of the community, but we do try to keep it at a time frame that they could possibly get in there, get it done, and get back to work if need be.
Okay, well, very good. If you don't mind, just tell them that date, and I think I said it just never did, the location once again.
Yeah, it's the Dixon Assembly Room, which is right there on campus, Turner Hall, from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. No admission, totally free to the community, anyone that wants to come. Usually we have a session after the speaker speaks for questioning and answers, and time to meet the speaker and engage in conversation with him. I know after Dr. Moss last year, I got a chance to go talk to him and take a picture with him.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty awesome for me.
Absolutely.
So we do allow for all of that as well if you have time to do that.
Okay, well, very good. I'm looking forward to coming out and to hearing Mr. Hank Thomas and the message that he has for the, you know, not just for the young people and the college students there, but for all that will be in attendance, much
Yes.
like Dr. Moss's message as well.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, Will, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show today and sharing this information with us. And by all means, keep us informed when other speakers are coming to the college.
I will do that. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment.
Why United Way? Because in some way, everyone in our community is touched by your donation to United Way of West Georgia. Yes, everyone. United Way helps 25 local agencies touch thousands of lives, even yours. To cause so many good things to happen, these organizations must have volunteers. Fortunately, more than 2,300 local volunteers are now giving time to the 25 local organizations that United Way of West Georgia helps support. Yes, more than 2,300 volunteers. But more are needed. Please volunteer your time, as well as your financial support. You'll be astonished at what you'll receive in return.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining City Week this week. My guests have been from the City of LaGrange, Mr. Bill Newman, as he reminded us to make sure that your 2015 occupational tax is up to date. Also, I had on from LaGrange College, Mr. Willie Maddox, Major Gift Officer, and also the Panther Club Coordinator, as he talked about the upcoming event that will be held on Thursday, January the 22nd, starting at 11 o'clock. Guest speaker, Mr. Hank Thomas. Make sure you come out and hear the dynamic speaker. And ladies and gentlemen, as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.